Grey Relic here with the part 2 of my Botania tutorial for Minecraft 1.7.10. Today I'm going to be going over runic crafting, baubles, and how to bind your spreaders to certain items. So, see how this spreader is not automatically facing the runic altar, which the runic altar will need mana in order to work. So, what you first do is, see how you right-click in the air with the Wand of the Forest that I mentioned in the previous episode, and you'll switch between function and bind mode. What you want here is bind mode. So, once you have that, you right-click on the mana spreader, then you right-click on the altar, and see, it'll bind it. You'll see this glowing stream shooting from the mana spreader. It's not a mana burst, it's slightly different. It shows the path of the spreader. Next, we're going to talk about a few items you're going to need. First off is mana steel. You get this by throwing iron into a filled mana pool. See? Mana steel. Next is mana pearls. Same thing with ender pearls. And finally, mana diamonds. Gonna need a little more living rock. Alright, so once you have those, you can really get started. Now, for runes are needed for a lot of things, and they're not quite so easy to make. So, we'll start with something I can remember the recipe for right away, a rune of water. For that, you will need sugarcane, bone meal, a fishing rod, and 3 mana steel. So there's those 3. You will also need the 3 mana steel. And that's the recipe for a rune. You put those on a rune crafting altar by right-clicking on it. Then, right-click with the wand to start it. Once it's started, all you have to do is supply it with mana. Now, I have a very fun way. It's a bit of a late-game flower, but it's a fun way to generate mana. It's called an entropinium. What it does is it negates the damage of TNT next to it, and instead turns it into mana. So let's see what has happened. Kaboom! No damage, and it starts putting out the mana right into the runic altar. See? Now this might take more than one. So the trick with an entropinium is, if you set off TNT next to it while it still has mana in the flower, the effect will not work. So you gotta be careful. So, now that we have this set up, we can once it's giving off sparks like this, you throw a piece of living rock on top, then right click the wand, and you've got your runes. It's simple as that. Now, for the next item we're going to make is a mana tablet, which is very simple. It's very useful. You can do this with a mana diamond or a mana pearl. Either will work. But you basically surround it with living rock, and you get a mana tablet. What this does is it will take mana out of mana pools or put it in them. See? It'll start taking it out of the mana pool. And then you basically just leave it there for a while till you have enough mana in it, and then you just pick it up. And boom, you've got mana. Now, there's a way, normally you can't really give a good indication of how much you've got except looking at the durability bar on it, but there is an item you can have called a mana blaster, which is very useful for more things. I'll cover that in a later episode. But it will put a blue bar over your experience. Hang on. So there's that. And that'll give you an idea of how much mana you have. Next, now we'll have to clear out the mana from the mana tablet. Oh, we can just make a new one. Right. Now, with a mana tablet, you can make the first bauble. You can basically upgrade it to a ring of mana. A band of mana, which acts the same exact way, except you can equip it to your ring slot. See? It holds the same amount of mana, same everything, but you can equip it, saving up a lot of inventory space. Well, not a lot. It's really just a little bit. So, there's that. Now, there's several other baubles listed here in the thing. There's tons of things. One of the useful ones is a band of aura, which is the same as a band of mana, except it's not the same. It's the exact opposite function. It creates mana, which is the same thing. It's basically you get 4 mana steel ingots for the ring pattern and a rune of mana, which for this you need 5 mana steel ingots and a mana pearl. Just showing the recipe right there again, just to be sure. Now, there's a lot of other things. There's a pyroclast pendant, which negates fire damage. You need a rune of fire and a rune of summer, plus 4 string and a mana steel. There is a sojourner's sash for the belt slot, rune of earth, rune of air, leather, and a mana steel. This makes you go much faster, jump much higher, walk over 1 block. Basically, if you've ever played Thaumcraft, the Sojourner's Sash is like the boots of the Traveler. Except, with the Sojourner's Sash, you can wear normal armor boots as well. So, point 1 for Botania. Tectonic Girdle's interesting. You're immune to knockback when wearing it. Then there's another bauble called the Tiny Planet, where it makes mana bursts float around you, which I've never actually tried that, so let's see what that does. So, let's see. We will set it up to go in the baubles. It apparently goes in the necklace slot. That's interesting to note. So, and now we will... Oh, right, we need mana. Creative mana tablet. Let's see. Oh, that is awesome. That is cool. That is just so cool. I gotta show you the lens. Check this out. There is a lens called Damaging that if you put it on a mana blaster, if you put it on a mana blaster or anything that shoots mana, you basically just do it like this. And now check this out. Let's go kill some sheep with a freaking force field. Let's go kill him with the force field. How awesome is this? How awesome is this? Oh my god. I am so doing this on the server play. I am so making a tiny planet. Anyways, let's get back to here. Right, set up back to creative. Whoops, wrong keys. There we go. Alright, so I've covered runic crafting, I've covered baubles, and I've covered how to bind things. That should just about do it for this tutorial. I will see you in the next one, where we will talk about the high-end goal of Botania, the portal to Alfheim. Until then, I will see you there, and I will learn how to do a better outro. See you later, guys.